As I suffered through Meet the Press yesterday, and I suffered through all of them, Chris Wallace and Fox News Sunday, he was hammering Mark Meadows pretty well. Funny, he didn't hammer Chris Coons quite the same way, the U.S. Senator and friend, Democrat and friend of Joe Biden. It seemed to be, as is often the case, two different interviews. That's the way it goes. That's the way they roll. All of them. They hammer and they attack and they interrupt and they browbeat a Republican. But a Democrat always gets kid gloves treatment almost every time. But I was glad that Chuck Todd let Scott Walker give him an answer that I don't think he was expecting. He was very excited, this Chuck Todd, who the whole show, all of these Sunday morning news shows feel like an entire prolonged campaign ad for the DNC and for the Biden-Harris ticket. But there was a fascinating part where Chuck Todd thought he had a gotcha moment with Scott Walker, the former Wisconsin governor. You know, Scott Walker was a presidential candidate and a competitor to Donald Trump for a blink of an eye. When Scott Walker dropped out, he criticized Donald Trump, like they all did. And so Chuck Todd played that clip of Scott Walker criticizing the meanness, the meanness, and we need somebody kind. And, you know, it was obviously a potshot, an attack against President Trump in 2015. So Chuck Todd of NBC's Meet the Press played that clip and said, how do you explain how you were anti-Trump, but now you are pro-Trump? Now you want the president to be reelected. Scott Walker's response is something that everybody ought to hear. We may play this every single day from now to the end of the campaign. Listen to what Governor Walker said to Chuck Todd in response. How do you go from being anti-Trump to pro-Trump? For Scott Walker, the answer is very simple.
Well, 5 years ago, I didn't know if Donald Trump would actually govern as a conservative. I think the record's pretty clear. This president, his team put through one of the largest tax cuts in America history. They're clearly the most pro-life administration ever. They put forward excellent picks and excellent nominees for the federal judiciary, and their regulatory reforms that help small businesses and other employers have actually brought about the unprecedented economic growth to the point where we, before the pandemic, had the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years. I look at that and I say, you know what? Washington is filled with politicians who say all the right things and don't get squat done. This president may not always talk and tweet the way that I do, but in the end, he actually gets things done. And I think here in the Midwest, we want to have people who don't just talk, but do. I'll take a doer over a talker any day of the week.
I'll take a doer over a talker any day of the week. That's clarity about this entire campaign, this entire election. Promises made, promises kept. In fact, it's why so many people keep texting the keyword Trump to 1-800-655-6453. We send back a list of many of the accomplishments of the Trump presidency, term one. And every time I announce it, my Pillow text line starts scrolling like a pinball machine because so many people want that list. But Scott Walker's answer does the same thing, confirms what promises made, promises kept looks like. What the president said he would do, he's going to do. Now, on the other side of the aisle, I believe we ought to take Joe Biden at his word too. Joe Biden absolutely would shut down the United States of America if elected president. Do you think scientists and doctors like Fauci and Birx wouldn't recommend a nationwide lockdown, lock the whole country down? Fauci has said it. Fauci said, listen, if people accuse me of going overboard, then I'll have it just about right. What do you think America would look like being shut down, locked down across the board? You do realize that in the interview that aired last night on ABC, Joe Biden confirmed that's precisely what he would do. I'm not so sure that all the excitement and enthusiasm over stopping Trump, I'm not sure those people are going to be as excited as they think they're going to be on the morning of November the 4th. Do normal people favor another shutdown nationwide? 1-800-655-MIKE. We're in the ReliefFactor.com studios for a big week. The RNC underway. There are a couple of storms headed towards maybe the Texas, the Louisiana coast. Is New Orleans going to get hit again? We're watching that carefully. Going to miss Florida apparently pretty much altogether. We're watching that. We're getting ready for the RNC. We're talking about a lot of new, even a meteor is supposed to come close the day before the presidential election. That wouldn't surprise you, would it? 1-800-655-MIKE, 1-800-655-6453. Join us. Press 1 to come on air, 2 to leave a voicemail message. You can text us your comments at the MyPillow text line, which is also 800-655-MIKE. Welcome in to another episode of the Mike Gallagher Show.